What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this week's second exclusive segment from the greatest podcast on turf. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Anthony.
And for this exclusive segment, we are going to be doing our weekly stardom sit-em list. Be sure to check out our other content this week. On Tuesday, we did our week recap, and we had a waiver wires episode. Those guys might still be available to go check out. Obviously, the starting sit episode coming out today. Tomorrow, we have a best bets episode coming out. And today we also have on the podcast our weekly pick'em. I have a commanding lead. We'll see if Anthony can keep up this week.
Yeah, I'm pretty much Ryan hit that one. Hit that nail on the head with that one. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Check out our TikTok page as well. You guys have been killing it on there. We've been seeing like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 views per video lately. So be sure to check it out. Keep showing us love. Our best bets record is 32-16. We're doing pretty good. We're up big money. Ryan does have a commanding lead, but after this week, that should change because we had more disagreements with games than we normally have. So this week, if I don't do good, the series is probably over, and I'm probably going to have to buy Ryan a jersey at the end of the season. And with that being said, like, subscribe, merch coming soon, and you ready?
Before we start, our sponsor, Little Italy Pizzeria. We're sitting in a restaurant right now. Best cheesesteaks in Delaware, best pizza, great people, great food, great prices, TV on every wall. Come in, have some lunch, bring the family, have a drink if you're of age, and I think now it's time to get into the stardom sit-up.
We're 20.
Yep. Anyways, starting with my first stardom, it is Kirk Cousins at home versus the Dallas Cowboys. It is the highest over-under of this week at 55. Kirk Cousins going up against the Dallas Cowboys defense that, granted, they do pretty good in the turnovers margin. We just got scored on by the Patriots. How much did you score?
Are we going to do this right now?
How much did you score?
Are we going to do this
How
right
much
now?
did you score? Just what was the score?
I don't remember.
Anyways, the Patriots
was the
scored
score.
points, and the Vikings are a much better team offensively. They got Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson. It's not really saying much. Dallas is also a great team on offense, so the Vikings are going to have to put up points in order to score. Like I said, highest over-under this week. Kirk Cousins has weapons. He's at home in the Dome against the Cowboys team who's rolling. Defense has been doing good on turnovers, but still allowing a lot of points. I see this game being a shootout, and Kirk Cousins is definitely a good start.
Yeah, I like that one. Kirk Cousins, he's probably available in your leagues as well. So if you need a quarterback streamer this week because you got Lamar on bye, or
It's only, I think it's just Ravens and Raiders.
Derek Carr on bye, I know he's been a starter for some people. So if you need to stream a quarterback this week, or you have a guy with a bad matchup like an Aaron Rodgers tonight, it would be maybe look to inquire Kirk Cousins to stream, or one of the next two guys I'm about to tell you about. First guy, you ain't gonna like either of these because they're both ugly. Trevor Lawrence. If you need a deep quarterback streamer and there's really nobody else, I remember that when we looked at when it was like Teddy Bridgewater, Mac Jones, a lot of guys. If you're in a deep league that guys are holding quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence may be a good stream this week. The last few games we saw before the Jags bye, Trevor Lawrence progressively got better. He was limiting the turnovers. He looked a lot more comfortable. And they're playing against the Seattle Seahawks defense, which really has been up and down. And the Jags have had 2 weeks to prepare for this game coming out of the bye. So I'm sure Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence, they probably scheme something up, try and come out of the gate, take the top off the Seahawks' horrid defense early, and get going there on offense. So if you need a deep streamer, Trevor Lawrence, or even, I know I hate to say this one because it's like bad, but Matt Ryan against the Panthers. The Panthers have just been kind of bad the past few weeks. It's kind of started with Sam Darnold playing bad. The defense hasn't looked that good. Matt Ryan, I think he's only got one interception in the last 4 or 5 games. Kyle Pitts has been doing his thing. Cordell Patterson's been killing it. Calvin Ridley's been getting more involved. Hell, Russell Gage has been getting involved. So if you need a deep streamer quarterback this week, because there is a lot of quarterbacks that aren't available, I know in most of our leagues, the guys we named are like the top 3 guys, top 4, top 5. So if you need to stream a quarterback this week, Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence, Matt Ryan, and then sit-em quarterbacks this week. I'll start out this one. We got Jimmy Garoppolo. This week was kind of weird because there's a lot of hard games, and there's like the obvious starts, and then there's like the obvious sits. like the Taylor Heineke's, the Teddy Bridgewaters of the world. But Jimmy G, I mean, he didn't have a good game against the Colts last week, held him to 13 points. He hasn't looked that good. And Jimmy G's just not very good in general. So, I mean, if you have to start Jimmy G, I'm sorry for you. All the guys that we've named so far are better options than Jimmy G this week. So if you have him, sit him, drop him, and pick up somebody we already said.
Jumping into my sit-em quarterback this week, it is Tua going up against the Bills. Tua has had a lot of success coming off of his injury. He posted a 22-point game and a 28-point game. But now he's going up against his Bills defense coming off of a bye. I don't see him doing much. Them boys are rolling, and I think there is a very solid chance that the Bills blow him out. You might have some garbage time from Tua in the fourth, but the Bills have been known to kind of keep their foot on the gas, not allow a lot of points. It's not a great situation in Miami. I know he's still fighting for his job, and he has been putting up solid numbers, but against his Bills defense, I would stay away from it just because of how good the Bills are, forcing turnovers, making pressures, everything that they do. Jumping into stardom running back, my first stardom running back, it is Khalil Herbert going up against the 49ers. I had Khalil Herbert as a sit-em last week going up against the Buccaneers, and I was wrong. He ended up torching the Buccaneers. Now he's going up against the 49ers defense that isn't better than the Buccaneers, so he shouldn't have a lot of success there. I don't think that the Bears are going to have a lot of success passing the ball, so I think this game is going to be won in the trenches. Either way, whoever wins. And the 49ers just allow Jonathan Taylor to run all over him. Granted, I know the Colts offensive line and Jonathan Taylor is better than Khalil Herbert and the Chicago Bears offense, but we're at the stage now where running backs are at a premium. A lot of guys have been getting hurt. Khalil Herbert has proven that he can be a solid running back, for the time being. Until David Montgomery's healthy, I think Khalil Herbert can have a pretty good day against this 49ers defense, who is pretty good, but I think he still has a day.
Yeah, I like that one, and it's good because I just traded for him as well, so I'll probably look into starting him this week. For my first stardom running back this week, we got Zach Moss going up against the Miami Dolphins. Zach Moss kind of had his big coming out party game against the Dolphins when they played earlier in the season. Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, I think they combined for 4 touchdowns that week. If anything, the Dolphins have gotten worse since that point, injuries and all that stuff. So, I mean, like Ryan just said when he was talking about Tua, Buffalo is probably going to blow him out of the water. Get the running game going early like they did last time these two teams played at the beginning of the season. So if you have Zach Moss, don't leave him on the bench this week. Trust me, you got to start him this week. Zach Moss is a must start this week.
Next stardom running back is Elijah Mitchell going up against the Bears. I've stayed in this matchup. I've taken both running backs. The Bears have allowed 15 points to running backs in 4 of the last 5 games. It looks like Khalil Mack is going to be out. I could see Elijah Mitchell having a pretty good day. He has taken over this backfield as of now. Trey Sermon is an afterthought. Raheem Mostert got hurt. They say Jeff Wilson can come in and take his job when he comes off, the PUP list. So Elijah Mitchell is obviously fighting for his job, and he has done pretty good so far. So go ahead and feel pretty confident. Start him against the Bears defense, especially, like I said, if you're a team that's had running back injuries, go ahead, start him.
Yeah, it's kind of a low-end running back start week. But I mean,
it seems like every week is at this point.
Like trending downwards. Like you said, running backs are a real hot commodity lately. And for this next guy, I think this guy's another must start this week. Chuba Hubbard at the Falcons. Matt Rule came out and said after their brutal loss to the Giants that he steered away from the run game, even game planning during the week. And I mean, they kind of were just. It was 5-3 at one point. And I guess they were just trying to throw the ball and not run the ball. So, I mean, I'm sure the Panthers are going to come out because in the games in the past that we have seen from the Panthers where Matt Rule has said that they couldn't get the run game going, the next games after that, he's came out just running the ball, scheming in run plays and running first and letting the offense flow through Chuba Hubbard and Christian McCaffrey. So, I mean, Falcons' defense is terrible, especially against the run this year. They're just terrible in general. So, I mean, look for the Panthers to come out and just look to get the run attack heavy going, set up for some play action, but primarily run the ball this week against the Falcons. So, I mean, look to start Chuba Hubbard this week if you have him available on the team.
Jumping into my first sit-em running back, I'll go ahead and take Melvin Gordon versus Washington. Basically, it's as simple as this. Washington is very, very bad against the pass, but they are actually really good against the run. They don't allow running backs to really destroy them at all. Melvin Gordon hasn't done really good lately. He's not getting the passing work that Javonte Williams has been getting. Melvin Gordon is kind of just being the running back, goal line, carry, stuff like that. And I don't see them doing that great against this Washington front that's actually still pretty solid. The secondary has been what's killing them. I see Denver, exploiting the secondary, and I don't think Melvin Gordon has that good of a day. He hasn't been lately, so go ahead and sit Melvin Gordon against Washington, unless he's kind of your only option, which I would understand. But yeah,
if that's the case, then you're probably in trouble.
To be fair, a lot of people are in trouble, so
yeah.
Best of luck to you.
For my first sit-em this week, staying in the Panthers and Falcons game, we got Mike Davis. The
What
past
a
few
disappointment
weeks,
Mike Davis was.
yeah, well, I mean, who would have thought Cordero Patterson have came on and seen it been a top fantasy running back this year?
Apparently, all other football teams were wrong because he's been on every single football team in football.
Yeah, they just weren't using him right. They were the problem, not him.
You realize he was a Patriot, right?
Exactly. It's the Patriot way. But now, sit Mike Davis this week. Mike Davis has been very lackluster. He's kind of taken the running back 2 role. I mean, he don't get a lot of touches anymore. Cordero Patterson took over as the main back. So if you have Mike Davis, I mean, I guess go ahead and start him. Like, if he's your only option, like we said about Melvin Gordon, which in that case, you're probably in trouble. But yeah, if you got Mike Davis, sit him. Panthers defense has surprisingly been good against the run. And I mean, a running back 2 against a team that's been pretty good against the run, it's not a good matchup. A running back who's seen a big fall off on touches to Cordero Patterson. So, I mean, knock on wood, hopefully nothing happens. But if Cordero Patterson gets injured or Mike Davis just takes over again as the lead back, that's kind of when we'll start Mike Davis again. But until then, he's probably on the Tyler Lockett sit until further notice.
Mike
list.
Davis revenge game against Carolina.
I like the storyline. Take it back, start him this week. It's like, did you have another sit-up?
Yeah, jumping into my next sit, I'm running back. It is Antonio Gibson versus Denver. I think you should be actively trying to trade Antonio Gibson as fast as you can. The situation with Antonio Gibson is not fun. J.D. McKissic is getting all the passing work. Antonio Gibson is just running up the middle for about 2 yards a carry. I also heard that it kind of got brought to light to me. Like, I've heard the stories about Washington's trainers, but if you really think about it, their 1 and 2 trainer are both out. I've heard that they're bringing in interns to help out the players and their injuries. And when you have a player with a broken shin and you have interns helping that player out, things could get messy. So I would be trying to trade Antonio Gibson. Like I said, he's not getting the passing work, so obviously his upside is very, very limited there. J.D. McKissic is getting all of it. So, yeah.
Sorry for me on my phone. I'm actively trying to shop Antonio Gibson as we speak.
You could have waited a little
The
bit.
funny thing is, I'm not joking. I'm really not joking. But my second sit-em running back this week, this is one of those ones that could go either way. Like, I feel like one of Ryan's sit-em receivers could go either way this week, and that's Leonard Fournette. The Saints always play the Bucs good, it seems like, no matter who's the quarterback, no matter who they got going. The Saints defense always balls out against the Bucs. They kind of owned Tom Brady last year the first time they played, and they kind of just shut down the entire run game the first time that they played last season. So, I mean, if you got Leonard Fournette, I mean, I don't blame you for starting him, but, I mean, if you have other viable options,
Basically, don't play him in a daily fantasy lineup.
yes.
But you're probably going to have to start him unless you have 3 absolute stud running backs, which not a lot of people do in this day and age of fantasy football. So
Yeah, you pretty much hit
it's just his warning. That's I feel like he was trying to get there, but I just made it
Thank
happen.
you. Brian made it happen, and then what do we got, receivers now?
Start him, receivers. I will start off with my first one. This man completely let me down last week, but I'm trusting him. I'm putting my trust in him. It is Courtland Sutton. He is getting Jerry Jeudy back, which should help him out, alleviate some of the pressure off of him. He's going up against a Washington team that has a good front 7, but okay, relax.
Is that finesse, or is that like me just being down bad?
I think that's you being down bad, so I'd relax. I'll help you out later.
Okay.
Courtland Sutton, Washington has allowed the most passing yards and the most passing touchdowns to receivers. It is very hard to not start Courtland Sutton last week. Yes, I know. If you listen to me, you're probably angry, and you're probably saying Courtland Sutton let me down last week. I get that. I'm sorry. I get that. Like I said, I'm sorry. But I'm rocking with him again, so we'll see what happens.
Speaking of Broncos versus Redskins, we're starting Jerry Jeudy this week as well along Courtland Sutton.
You're rolling him out?
Rolling him out of the IR. He's coming straight out of the wheelchair. He's getting in the game, and he's going for 10 receptions, 120 yards, and a touchdown this week against the Redskins defense. That is absolutely horrible. Start Jerry Jeudy. Start Courtland Sutton this week. Yeah.
Jumping into my next start on wide receiver, it is Emmanuel Sanders going up against the Dolphins. Emmanuel Sanders has looked really good for this. I was going to say Cincinnati Bills. For this Buffalo Bills offense, Josh Allen has been having a great season so far. Emmanuel Sanders has had a solid last couple of games. I'm trying to pull up his stats against Miami. I'm hoping they're good to make me look good. 2 for 48, not much, but that was the start of the season. Emmanuel Sanders was on a new team, but the last few games he's been on a tear. He had 5 for 91 against the Titans. 3 for 54 and 2 tutties against the Chiefs, 5 for 74 against the Texans, 5 for 94 against Washington. That is very solid numbers. He's building up a great relationship with Josh Allen. Sometimes it's just as good to be the number 2 receiver in fantasy as the number 1. He benefits with Stephon Diggs getting the majority. Emmanuel Sanders can definitely take the top off of this defense. Miami hasn't been able to stop a parked car, even though they have the 2 highest paid corners in football. I could definitely see Emmanuel Sanders sneaking through and getting a tutty.
Emmanuel Sanders out of?
I'm hoping I see it on the screen. SMU, baby.
All right, for my
fits the jersey. Nice.
For my second stardom wide receiver this week, we got Devonta Smith at the Detroit Lions. This was an interesting game. We talked about, if you want to hear our full thoughts about why the Eagles suck, link in the description of the podcast. Pause the video, check it out. Wait till you finish the video, check it out. But yeah, Devonta Smith this week. We got the Eagles who suck versus the Lions who suck. I think that all the Eagles are kind of fighting for their job at this point. Head coach, quarterback even, which, I mean, he really isn't the problem. But, I mean, media talks, we saw how Carson Wentz got blackballed out of Philly. But yeah, it's looking like that the Eagles are going to try and come out and get a big lead on the Lions early. So look for Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts to try and get going. I know Devonta Smith has been inconsistent. He'll have a great game one week, then the next couple weeks he goes down bad and sucks. But I mean, that just comes with, they're playing the Lions this week who Amani Oruwariye is their number 1 corner, and maybe even Nickel Roby-Coleman and like Tracy Walker is there as well. But yeah, more of the story, their secondary is terrible. Start Devonta Smith this week if you have him.
Jumping into my sit-em wide receivers, these are 2 really big names, but they have been the biggest disappointments in fantasy football so far. So to start off with the first one right now, it is Allen Robinson going up against the 49ers.
That's the one.
I personally think that this game is going to be won in the trenches. Allen Robinson is coming off of a horrible game, 2 for 16. Basically, Justin Fields did not look good in that game. He had a lot of turnovers. I could see, I could see the 49ers having themselves a day. Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Fred Warner. I could see them rushing Justin Fields, forcing them to run the ball just because Justin Fields has looked, I mean, granted, he has nobody around him, but he hasn't looked good. He's just because, like I said, he has nobody around him. Him and Allen Robinson aren't clicking. He only has 1 touchdown over the year. Until Allen Robinson can show you something, don't start him. I feel bad if you drafted him because you probably can't trade him either. It's hard to drop him, so just stash him on the bench and hope.
I just traded my brother in one league. I traded my brother Chase Claypool for Allen Robinson.
You traded for him?
I traded for Allen Robinson.
You lost. Your brother won. Claypool's on like a 1,200-yard pace. He just hasn't scored yet.
Allen Robinson, this is his coming out week. This is the game I said where I feel like he's going to have a good game. This is the one where I said that there's like Leonard Fournette. This one could go either way. I mean, I'm probably just going to start him this week. But that's just me. I mean, I don't want to be a hater or nothing and have our fans in the comments. This guy in the yellow hoodie's a jackass. He ruined the video for criticizing all Ryan's.
I mean, they're
picks.
not wrong, so.
It's fair. My first sit-in wide receiver, Brandon Cooks, playing against the Rams. That goes without saying. Yeah, Tyrod Taylor's playing this week, but
Brandon Cooks is not happy to be a Houston Texan, I heard.
no.
Talk about that on the podcast.
Link in the description. Be sure to check that out. Smooth like Skippy. But yeah, Brandon Cooks. I mean, no matter who the quarterback is, Tyrod Taylor or Davis Mills, neither of them are ballsy to throw at Jalen Ramsey. We're probably not looking at a mirror matchup here.
Tyrod Taylor is ballsy enough to throw anywhere he wants to.
And Tyrod Taylor will get picked because he sucks. But anyways, yeah, sit Brandon Cooks this week against the Rams. The Rams secondary has been very good despite the losses they had in the offseason. I thought they would take a hit. But now the Rams defense has been good. Brandon Cooks is going to get shut down this week, so don't start Brandon Cooks.
Next player I will be talking about, it is Odell Beckham Jr. going up against whoever Odell Beckham Jr. is going up against. I don't really care who it is, Pittsburgh, but I don't really care.
Pittsburgh.
Odell hasn't done anything so far this year. Baker Mayfield's banged up. He might play, he might not. Even if he does play, him and Odell have not built up a great connection. Therefore, do not start Odell until you have to. I personally dropped him. I was tired of it. I let him go.
Yep.
Some people are still holding on. Don't hold on to the big name. We've been waiting for Odell Beckham Jr. to be Odell Beckham Jr. for the past 5 years, and it has not happened, and we're still doing it. So, people are crazy, but I was one of the people, so don't start.
Speaking of holding on to big names, one of my fantasy football benches consists of Brandon Ayuk, Robbie Anderson, Tyler Boyd, and Julio Jones. Talk about holding on to big names.
Yeah.
Another sit-in this week, Corey Davis. Yeah, he's coming off a touchdown and 50-yard game, but don't start Corey Davis this week. I guarantee you there's a better receiver on the waiver wire or on your bench better than Corey Davis this week. Going against the Bengals, who have been very good. I don't know who their new quarterback is. I think his name's Mike White.
I think he used to be a Cowboy. I'm almost positive he used to be a Cowboy.
Yeah, Mike White's the quarterback. That's a problem. Guarantee there's a better option than Corey Davis this week. Mike White.
It's the wrong Mike White. He played college for South Florida.
Western. No.
Let's see where he was drafted. I think he was drafted like 6th round by the Cowboys. I'm not seeing it. I'll just keep going. You talk. Cowboys in the 5th round, baby.
Of the 2018 NFL draft. Out of?
I just said it.
USF. But yeah, sit Corey Davis this week. Mike White's not
and
very
Western
good.
Kentucky. He transferred. But he's
sit
a
Corey
stud.
Davis, more of a story. And are we done? Or no, you gotta talk about. Oh no, I have a sit him tight end this week. Jared Cook against the Patriots. The Patriots have been very good against tight ends this week.
Patriots aren't
year.
good against anything.
Anyway, Patriots are the best statistically. The Patriots are the #1 defense against tight ends in the NFL this year, and Jared Cook sucks.
He's just pulling numbers. Don't even listen.
And just a real quick start based off injury. If Kadarius Toney plays, he is start of the week.
Tight end start Bob Tunyon.
Yeah.
He has done really good when Devonta Adams was down on the field. Last year, that's when he had that 3-touchdown game. So, not saying it's going to happen here, but
there we go. Start Bob Tunyon and Kadarius Toney and sit Jared Cook. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, check out our TikTok page, keep showing us love, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for our best bets, win you guys some money.
see ya.
Peace.